Bandeham Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishakam Vidam Scha Om Ajnana Timaranda Sha Gyanajana Shilakya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipanam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujjwalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Vande Vishwagurun Sha Divyad Bhagavad Premnawe Bija Pranam Devam Divyatanu Suchandavananam Mularka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Baranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubhanam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Vanchakalpatarubhyas Chakripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Antya-lila chapter 13, pastimes with Jagadananda Pandit and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. Okay. This is verse number 78. Ek din Prabhu Jameshwara Tota Jaite Sekale Devadasi Lagi Lagaite. One day, when the Lord was going to the temple of Yameshwara, a female singer began to sing in the Jagannath temple. Gujari Ragini Laya Samadura Sware Gita Govinda Paragaya Jagamanahare. She sang a Gujari tune in a very sweet voice, and because the subject was Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda, the song attracted the attention of the entire world. Darigana Shuni Prabhur Hoilavesh Sri Purusha Ke Gai Najani Vishesh. Hearing the song from a distance, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately became ecstatic. He did not know whether it was a man or a woman singing. Tari milibare Prabhu aveshe daila pate sijera bari hoy futia chalila. As the Lord ran in ecstasy to meet the singer, thorny hedges pricked his body. Ange kanta lagila kichu na janila aste byaste govinda tara pachete daila. Govinda ran very quickly behind the Lord, who did not feel any pain from the pricking of the thorns. Dhanajajena Prabhu Striyache Alpadure Strigaya Boli Govinda Prabhure Koila Kole. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was running very rapidly, and the girl was only a short distance away. Just then Govinda caught the Lord in his arms and cried, "It's a woman singing." Strinama Shuni Prabhur Bhaya Hoila Punarapi Sepate Bahudi Chalila. As soon as he heard the word woman, the Lord became externally conscious and turned back. Prabhu Kohe Govindaje Rakila Gyan Stri Parasha Hoile Amara Hoita Maran. My dear Govinda, he said, you have saved my life. If I had touched the body of a woman, I would certainly have died. Erina Shoditeyami Narimu Tomar Govinda Kohe Jagannatha Rakena Mui Konjar. I shall never be able to repay my debt to you. Govinda replied, Lord Jagannath has saved you. I am insignificant. Prabhu Kohe Govinda Mor Sangira Hiba Jahantahan Mora Rakaya Savadana Hoiba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "My dear Govinda, you should stay with me always. There is danger anywhere and everywhere. Therefore, you should protect me very carefully." Eta bole lute Prabhu gela nejastane, shuni mahabai hoila, swarupari mane. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned home. When Swarup Damodar Goswami and his other attendants heard about the incident, they became very much afraid. Etatapan Mishra Putra Raghunatha Bhattacharya Prabhure Dekite Chalila Chari Sarvakarya. During this time, Raghunath Bhattacharya, the son of Tapan Mishra, gave up all his duties and left home, intending to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashi hoite Chalila Teho Goda Patadiya Sange Sevak Chali Tara Jali Vahia. Accompanied by a servant carrying his baggage, Raghunath Bhatta started from Varanasi and traveled along the path leading through Bengal. Patitare Milila Vishwas Ramadas Vishwas Kanara Kayasta Teho Rajara Vishwas. In Bengal, he met Ramadas Vishwas, who belonged to the Kayasta caste. He was one of the king's secretaries. The words Vishvasha, Kannada, Kayasta indicate a secretary or clerk belonging to the Kayasta caste. Kayastas were usually secretaries to kings, governors, or other important persons. It is said that anyone working in the government secretariat at this time was a Kayasta. Sarvashastre Pravina Kavya Prakash Adhyapak Parama Vaishnava Raghunatha Upashak. Ramadas Vishwas was very learned in all the revealed scriptures. He was a teacher of the famous book Kavya Prakash and was known as an advanced devotee and worshipper of Raghunath, Lord Ramachandra. Commenting on the word Parama Vaishnava, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that anyone who desires to merge into the existence of the Lord cannot be a pure Vaishnava. But because Ramadas Vishwas was a great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, he was almost a Vaishnava. In those days, no one could distinguish between a pure Vaishnava and a pseudo-Vaishnava. Therefore, Ramadas Vishwas was known as a Vaishnava because he worshipped Lord Ramachandra. Ashtaprahara Ramanam Japena Ratridine Sarvatyachi Chalila Jagannatha Darshane. Ramadas had renounced everything and was going to see Lord Jagannath. While traveling, he chanted the holy name of Lord Rama 24 hours a day. Raghunath Bhatter Sane Pateta Milila Bhattera Jali Mate Kore Bahia Jalila. When he met Raghunath Bhatta on the way, he took Raghunath's baggage on his head and carried it. Nana Seva Kore Kore Parasambahan Tate Raghunath Era Hoy Sankuchitaman. Ramadas served Raghunath Bhatta in various ways, even massaging his legs. Raghunath Bhatta felt some hesitation in accepting all this service. Tumi Boralok Pandita Mahabhagavate Sevana Koriya Suke Chalamora Sate. You are a respectable gentleman, a learned scholar and a great devotee, Raghunath Bhatta said. Please do not try to serve me. Just come with me in a happy mood. Ramadas Koheyami Shudra Adama Brahmanera Seva E Mora Nija Dharma. Ramadas replied, I am a Shudra, a fallen soul. To serve a Brahman is my duty and religious principle. Sankochana koratumi ami tomardas, tomara seva korile hoy, ridaye ulas. Therefore, please do not be hesitant. I am your servant, and when I serve you, my heart becomes jubilant. Eta Boli Jale Bahen Korana Sebane Raghunathara Taraka Mantra Japana Ratri Dine. Thus Ramadas carried the baggage of Raghunath Bhatta and served him sincerely. He constantly chanted the holy name of Lord Ramachandra day and night. Imate Raghunatha Aila Nilachale Prabhura Charane Jana Milila Kutuhale. Traveling in this way, Raghunath Bhatta soon arrived at Jagannath Puri. There he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great delight and fell at his lotus feet. Danda Paranama Kori Bhatta Padila Charane Prabhu Raghunatha Jane Koila Alingane. Raghunath Bhatta fell straight as a rod at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then the Lord embraced him, knowing well who he was. Mitra Ara Shekarer Dandavat Janaila Mahaprabhu Tasavar Bharta Puchila. Raghunath offered respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on behalf of Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, and the Lord also inquired about them. So he's the son of Tapan Mishra, and he offers to Mahaprabhu obeisance on behalf of his father and Chandrasekhar, who is also staying in Varanasi and a Vaishnava, a servant of all the devotees. Actually, they're the two main Vaishnavas there, Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. Balu Hoilaila Deka Kamala Lochan Ajiyamar Eta Koriba Prasada Bojan. It is very good that you have come here, the Lord said. Now go see the lotus-eyed Lord Jagannath. Today you will accept prasadam here at my place. Govindare Kohe Ek Bhasa Deo Jaila Swarupare Bhaktagan Sane Milaila. The Lord asked Govinda to arrange for Raghunath Bhatta's accommodations and then introduced him to all the devotees, headed by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Emata Prabhu Sange Rohila Ashtamas Dine Dine Prabhur Kripai Baraye Ulas. Thus Raghunath Bhatta lived with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continuously for 8 months, and by the Lord's mercy he felt increasing transcendental happiness every day. Madhye Madhye Mahaprabhur Koranani Mantran Garabata Koranara Bibida Byanjan. He would periodically cook rice with various vegetables and invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home. Raghunatha Bhatta Pake Ate Shuni Pun Jai Rande Se Hoy Amritera Sam. Raghunath Bhatta was an expert cook. Whatever he prepared tasted just like nectar. Parama Santoshe Prabhu Korana Bojan Prabhura Avashishta Patra Bhattera Bakan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would accept with great satisfaction all the food he prepared. After the Lord was satisfied, Raghunath Bhatta would eat his remnants. Ramadas Jadi Pratama Prabhure Milila Mahaprabhu Adhikatare Kripaina Korila. When Ramadas Vishwas met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord did not show him any special mercy, although this was their first meeting. Antare Mumuksho Teho Vidya Garvavan Sarvachitta Gyata Prabhu Sarvagya Bhagavan. Within his heart, Ramadas Vishwas was an impersonalist who desired to merge into the existence of the Lord, and he was very proud of his learning. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the omniscient Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can understand the heart of everyone, and thus he knew all these things. Ramadas Koilatabe Nilachalebas Patanyaka Goshtike Padai Kavya Prakash. Ramadas Vishwas then took up residence in Jagannath Puri and taught the Kavya Prakash to the Patanayaka family, the descendants of Bhavananda Roy. Astamash Rohe Prabhu Bhate Vidadila Vivahana Korea Bole Nisheda Korila. After 8 months, when Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Raghunath Bhatta, the Lord flatly forbade him to marry. Do not marry, the Lord said. Raghunath Bhattacharya had become a greatly advanced devotee while still unmarried. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could see this, and therefore he advised him not to begin the process of material sense gratification. Marriage is a concession for people who are unable to control their senses. Raghunath, however, being an advanced devotee of Krishna, naturally had no desire for sense gratification. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised him not to enter the bondage of marriage. Generally, a person cannot make much advancement in spiritual consciousness if he is married. He becomes attached to his family and is prone to sense gratification. Thus, his spiritual advancement is very slow or almost nil. Bridapata Pitarjai Koraha Sevan Vaishnava Pash Bhagavat Kora Adyayan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Raghunath Bhatta, when you return home, serve your aged father and mother, who are devotees, and try to study Srimad Bhagavatam from a pure Vaishnava who has realized God. Now, this is something that Srila Govinda Maharaj has also instructed. If somebody is going to study the Srimad Bhagavatam, that person should study under a guru or an advanced devotee. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, recognizing that will be difficult for most persons, he said, then all right, you can read the Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has written, but read it from beginning to end. Don't skip anything. And read all the purports that Srila Prabhupada has written. Then Srila Govinda Maharaj accepted that. But normally, as Mahaprabhu has said to Raghunath Bhatta, Bhattacharya, who later became one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindaban, Mahaprabhu told him, study the Srimad Bhagavatam under the teacher. As a teacher, you should have an advanced Vaishnava. Even though Raghunath Bhatta himself is an advanced devotee, but Mahaprabhu wanted him to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a qualified devotee. Punarapi Ekbar Ashia Nila Chale Etabole Kuntamala Dila Taragale. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concluded, come again to Nilachala, Jagannath Puri. After saying this, the Lord put his own neck beads on Raghunath Bhatta's neck. Alingana Kore Prabhu Vidai Taridila Premegar Gar Bhatta Kandite Lagila. Then the Lord embraced him and bade him farewell. Overwhelmed with ecstatic love, Raghunath Bhatta began to cry due to imminent separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarup Ade Bhaktatai Agya Magiya Varanasi Aila Bhatta Prabhu Agyabhaya. After taking permission from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, headed by Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Bhatta returned to Varanasi. Chare Batsaragare Pita Matara Seva Koila Vaishnava Panditatai Bhagavata Parila. In accordance with the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he continuously rendered service to his mother and father for 4 years. He also regularly studied Srimad Bhagavatam from a self-realized Vaishnava. Pita Mata Kashi Paile Udasina Haya Puna Prabhur Tai Ila Grihadi Chadiya. Then his parents died at Kashi, Varanasi, and he became detached. He therefore returned to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, giving up all relationships with his home. Purvavat Ashtamash Prabhu Pashachila Ashtamas Rohi Puna Prabhu Agyadila. As previously, Raghunath remained continuously with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 8 months. Then the Lord gave him the following order. Amara Gyaya Raghunath Jaha Vrindavane Tahanjana Raha Rupa Sanatana Stane. My dear Raghunath, on my order, go to Vrindaban and live there under the care of Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. Bhagavat Pada Sada Loha Krishnanam Achire Koribena Kripa Krishna Bhagavan. In Vrindaban, you should chant the Hare Krishna mantra 24 hours a day and read Srimad Bhagavatam continuously. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will very soon bestow his mercy upon you. Eta bole prabhutari alingana koila prabhura kripate Krishna preme mata hoila. After saying that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Raghunath Bhatta, and by the Lord's mercy, Raghunath was enlightened. And by the Lord's mercy, Raghunath was enlivened with ecstatic love for Krishna. After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Raghunath Bhatta, and by the Lord's mercy, Raghunath was enlivened with ecstatic love for Krishna. Shodahanta Jagannath Tulasiramala Chuta Pana Bida Mahotsave Panachila. At a festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been given some unspiced betel and a garland of tulsi leaves, 14 cubits long. The garland had been worn by Lord Jagannath. So it says here that 14 cubits is about 21 feet. Or about 7 meters. Semala Chutapana Prabhu Taridila Ishtadeva Korimala Doriya Rokila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the garland and betel to Raghunath Bhatta, who accepted them as a worshipful deity and preserved them very carefully. Prabhuratai Agyalaya Gela Vrindavane Ashraya Korila Ashe Rupa Sanatane. Taking permission from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunath Bhatta then departed for Vrindaban. When he arrived there, he put himself under the care of Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. Rupa Gosai Sabai Korana Bhagavata Patan Bhagavat Padite Preme Olaya Taraman. When reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, in the company of Rupa and Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta would be overwhelmed with ecstatic love for Krishna. Ashrukampa Gadgara Prabhura Kripate Netrakanta Rode Bashpa Napore Pare Bodhite. By the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he experienced the symptoms of ecstatic love, tears, trembling, and faltering the voice. His eyes filled with tears and his throat became choked, and thus he could not recite Srimad Bhagavatam. Pikaswara Kantatali Ragara Vibhag Ek Shlok Padite Firai Tina Chare Rag His voice was as sweet as a cuckoo's, and he would recite each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam in 3 or 4 tunes. Thus, his recitations were very sweet to hear. He could sing very beautifully, and he would sing each verse of Srimad Bhagavatam in 3 or 4 tunes. Thus, his recitations were very sweet to hear. Krishnera Sondarya Madhurya Jabe Parishune Premite Bibalatabe Kichui Najane. When he recited or heard about the beauty and sweetness of Krishna, he would be overwhelmed with ecstatic love and become oblivious to everything. Govinda Charane Koila Atma Samarpan Govinda Charanarabinda Jara Pranadan. Thus, Raghunath Bhatta surrendered fully at the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, and those lotus feet became his life and soul. Nija Sishe Kohe Govindara Mandira Koraila Bamshi Makara Kundaladi Bhushana Koredila. Subsequently, Raghunath Bhatta ordered his disciples to construct a temple for Govinda. He prepared various ornaments for Govinda, including a flute and shark-shaped earrings. Gramya Vartana Shune Na Kohe Jivai Krishna Kata Puja Dite Ashta Praharjai. Raghunath Bhatta would neither hear nor speak about anything of the material world. He would simply discuss Krishna and worship the Lord day and night. Vaishnavara Nindya Karma Nahi Pare Kane Sabe Krishna Bhajana Kore E Matra Jane. He would not listen to blasphemy of a Vaishnav, nor would he listen to talk of a Vaishnav's misbehavior. He knew only that everyone was engaged in Krishna's service. He did not understand anything else. Raghunath Bhatta never did anything harmful to a Vaishnava. In other words, he was never inattentive in the service of the Lord, nor did he ever violate the rules and regulations of a pure Vaishnava. It is the duty of a Vaishnavacharya to prevent his disciples and followers from violating the principles of Vaishnava behavior. He should always advise them to strictly follow the regular principles which will protect them from falling down. Although a Vaishnava preacher may sometimes criticize others, Raghunath Bhatta avoided this. Even if another Vaishnava was actually at fault, Raghunath Bhatta would not criticize him. He saw only that everyone was engaged in Krishna's service. That is the position of the Mahabhagavat. Actually, even if one is serving Maya, in a higher sense, he is also a servant of Krishna. Because Maya is a servant of Krishna, anyone serving Maya serves Krishna indirectly. Therefore it is said, Keho mani keho namane sab taradash, jena mani tara hoy se pape nash. Some accept him, whereas others do not, yet everyone is his servant. One who does not accept him, however, will be ruined by his sinful activities. That's from Antya-lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu Dattamala Mana Nera Kale Prashada Kadar Saha Bandilena Gale. When Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was absorbed in remembrance of Lord Krishna, he would take the tulsi garland and the prasadam of Lord Jagannath given to him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, bind them together and wear them on his neck. Mahaprabhu Kripai Krishna Prema Anargal Eta Kohilon Tate Chaitanya Kripa Vow. Thus I have described the powerful mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by which Raghunath Bhatta remained constantly overwhelmed with ecstatic love for Krishna. Jagannandar Kohilun Vrindaban Agaman Taramaje Devadashir Ghana Shravan Mahaprabhu Raghunate Kripa Primafal Ek Parichede Tina Katakun Kahilun Sakal Jagadananda Kohilun Vrindavan Agaman Taramaje Devadashir Ghana Shravan Mahaprabhu Raghunate Kripa Premaval Ek Parichede Tin Katash Kohilun Sakal. In this chapter I have spoken about three topics: Jagadananda Pandit's visit to Vrindaban, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's listening to the song of the Devadasi at the temple of Jagannath, and how Raghunath Bhatta achieved ecstatic love of Krishna by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai Sakala Kata Shune Shradakori Tare Krishna Premadana Dena Gorahari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gorahari bestows ecstatic love for Krishna upon anyone who hears all these topics with faith and love. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijana As Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishna Das. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Das narrate Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya-lila, 13th chapter, describing Jagadananda Pandit's visit to Vrindaban, the Lord's hearing the song of the Devadasi, and Raghunath Bhatta Goswami's achieving love of Krishna. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Gadadara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jaoite Vignana Shabista Puram Jaoite Vignana Shabista Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Tasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Tasabar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame More Abhilas Janame Janame More Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Antya-lila Korila Prakash Radha Krishna Antya-lila Korila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bacha Vrindaban. Anande Bolo Hari Vrindaban. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamadas. Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naratamadas. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. 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 Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Tara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Tara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Rakak Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai, Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ram Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sokel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Sevashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, all the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.